Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have the Takamine Screamin' Mimi back on the bench. We're going to now move forward with the setup. I'm going to explain how we repaired a few things on it, and let's get to work. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. Please leave comments. I love to read them. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. We had issues here. This thing was flopping around. When I first got the guitar, the neck was all whacked out of shape. So to get in there, I tried to remove this fabbed up pickup system in here, and one of the bolts broke off, so I had to repair that. Refer to the first video. We still don't know what's going to happen here with the saddle, but we're going to move forward with the cleanup, the setup, restring, and then we'll worry about this if and when it becomes an issue. I'm almost certain it's going to be an issue, but I hope not. So before we get to cleanup, I want to just check hardware, make sure that everything is tight. Because so far what I've found on this guitar has been a trial. Everything I touch seems to kind of come apart, but we're going to get it fixed up. Flip her over. All original hardware. Excellent. I love to see that. Make sure everything's tight. Remember, this is not a Harley Davidson. You don't have to over tighten it. Just make sure things are snugged up. You got screws going. That one was really loose. You got screws going into wood, not metal to metal. But things do need to be snug. I'm not sure if that's original, because I would never put a strap button there. Let's not get too carried away with that end, because that is part of electronics. Just make sure we're tight, which it's not. There's 3 screws that hold that in there. Good boy. I'm sorry I'm not in the video. It doesn't matter. This is the output jack or input jack, depends on who you ask. Just making sure that's tight. Okay, hardware on this is pretty tight. We don't have any mechanicals here. I don't need to sand and clean the neck, but we do need to, yeah, really does need a cleanup. We're going to get after that, but the first thing I want to do is do some fret eraser on the frets. I think that's the right one. Fret erasers, you know all about this. Sometimes I use sandpaper, like an 1800 or a 1500 wet sandpaper on these, but always use a fretboard protector like this. And we're going to do 2 swipes on this. Actually, these are pretty grungy. I'm going to do the full Monty, 180, 400, and then 1000. So 180, the lower the number, the higher the grit. There is actually some rust on these. We want to get them cleaned down and polished as much as we can with the fret erasers. I'm not going to show you 20, I'm guessing 22 frets all the way down, and 3 times we're going to do this. So you've seen this exercise, you know what it is. What we're doing is dressing the frets. We're polishing the frets. And they're pretty grungy. I want to get a fatter. Seems like the fat one is the only one I ever use. And you go up and down the board. And each fret, you're going to clean it, sand it down. Now, you're not sanding it, shortening it, or taking any material off. What you're doing is, well, like the name implies, you're fret erasing. And this is kind of sandpaper. It's a cross between sandpaper and eraser, so that it will take off the grunge and the grime and the nastiness that is on these frets. And believe me when I tell you, these need it. So I'm going to pause while I go through this process. I'll show you the last few on the third pass, because this will take some time and I don't want to eat up video time, so stand by. Okay, so we're doing the last bit of run with the 1000 grit fret eraser. You start at 180, go to 400, then you move to the 1000 now with the fret eraser. Just use the protector and make sure you're not grinding on the wood. All you want to do is hit the fret. And all we're doing is pulling off all the goop, the DNA, the corrosion, you know, everything, the tarnish. Look, you can go a lot farther with frets, but if you don't need to, don't. Now, when we get down here, I'm going to show you, this guitar has been played. This is a used instrument. It gets played, and clearly music has been made with this instrument a lot. When you get down to here, I don't know if the camera's picking up on it, but right there, you can see the divots in the frets. Lot of wear on the frets up here. That's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. I mean, you know, when guitars get used, fret wires get worn down, and there's starting at around the 5th to 6th fret, a lot of wear, and it looks like mostly on the treble side. Not sure why that would be. Usually you're going to see it more over here, a lot of cowboy chords, but as I said, the owner of this guitar is a, you know, Latin music and artist producer. He in the Miami area here, and he, you know, this type of, you know, I'm a blues rock guy. I wouldn't know, you know, how to play that Latin beat if my life depended on it. I'm gringo through and through, but got some wear on here, which means that's the way this guitar was played. Now, get the sand off of there, plug your earphones. When we started, these frets were just grunged up. Now they have a nice polish on them. That's called dressing the frets. Call it what you want, but that's what it is. And that's the way we do it. Like I said, sometimes I use a really super fine grit wet sandpaper, 1500, 1800. You use the same protector and you just get after it. And that will super polish it. Now, probably sooner rather than later, this guitar is going to need a fret leveling. I haven't measured the frets, but I think a fret leveling is going to be in order sooner or later. Where did my... I must have shoved it in here like a moron. Yep. Put it back in its toolbox. Back away. A little bit of boiled linseed oil. We're going to treat the wood on the fretboard now, and that's an important step. Wood is a living, breathing thing even after the tree has been cut down and it's been turned into a guitar. Wood needs to be oiled from time to time. Boiled linseed oil. It's your friend. Apply it semi-liberally and let it sit in there. And it's pretty easy. You just put it on there. Just don't overdo it. This is the first application. We're just putting it on there. A lot of products on the market. You can, insert the name of your favorite brand. I mean, Music Nomad has stuff. I like their product. I use a lot of their products, as you know. When it comes to treating the neck, this is the best oil. It's expensive. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not cheap. But what I like about boiled linseed oil is that it hardens up. You can see a little crustiness around there on the bottle where the cap goes. Well, guess what? There's all kinds of micro imperfections in the rosewood on the fretboard, and when you do this once a year and treat your fretboard like this with some boiled linseed oil, it actually fills in all those little crevices, and it will harden over time, a couple of days, 24 hours, whatever, and it keeps your board smooth. Is it the same as refretting and sanding down the wood? No, of course not. But this is a way to keep it in really good plain condition. So you saw that. I applied it. You don't need to leave it on there for an hour or 10 minutes or 20 minutes or, whatever. You just kind of apply it and then take it off. And it's going to lubricate and treat your wood. And it also takes all the goop off the fret polishing that we just did. Pretty basic stuff, pretty common sense. Many of you have seen me do this. This is how I do it. This is how I was taught to do it. This is the way it should be done. I believe it. Do whatever you want. You can put baby oil on there if you want. I don't know what kind of result you'll get, but it'll be greasy as hell. I've seen guys put coconut oil on there. Wouldn't agree with that, but I'm old school. I do it my way. When you first start playing it'll feel different. Not oily or greasy, but it'll feel different, and you'll know that it's been treated. All that stuff comes off. Green stuff, brown stuff. I didn't have to scrub this fretboard. It didn't have a lot of, dirt and grime and DNA on it. But sometimes you have to do that. And you can see I had the brush out here for it, but it just didn't need it this time. So, next step. Clean her up. We're going to clean the body. I'm pretty certain this is not nitrocellulose, but we'll know in a second. It's got fingerprints all over it. Like I said, this guitar clearly gets played or has been played in its life a lot. And this is what I like to do for my customers, make sure it's clean before we get to putting the new strings on and moving on to the setup. I want to make sure that it's as clean as it can possibly be and shining as well as it can possibly shine. Every guitar has some signs of use on it. There's scratches on it. But all in all, it's a pretty guitar. I like it. And I think we're going to make it be a good instrument again very shortly here. All right, we did the top. I want to do the side. All kinds of arm sweat, who knows. We lean on guitars. Most players don't ever pay attention to this stuff. That's what I'm here for. A clean guitar is a happy guitar. You don't need to see me do the rest of this because it does take a few minutes. I'm going to pause here briefly and we'll be right back. So we're pretty much done cleaning it up. While I was cleaning up here, the D-tuning peg, the bushings were all gone. The nylon bushing and the rubber seal was missing. I happened to have some in my personal stash. I unscrewed the knob, took the broken parts out, and put a new bushing and rubber seal. I also put a little bit of graphite lube on it. That's all it needs. But it was just kind of flopping around on there. All the rest of them look pretty decent. I'm going to give them a dollop of oil, all of them. I tightened up all the hardware as well. We're ready to go forward with restringing, which is going to lead us to, well, what we're not sure is going to happen down here. I did pull out a whole set of new string pegs because you saw from the previous video they were dry rotted. The first one didn't want to come out. They were mismatched. The problem I'm having with the new ones, they are angled back towards the tailpiece of the, let me get back in the mood. These should go down straight into the saddle. Now, I've done a couple of these guitars. I've never seen one. It's actually angled in this direction. And they don't want to go all the way down in there. So I'm going to string this up the best way that I can. And I'm sure they're getting tight. I tested every hole. The string pegs are going to go down in there and hold the string. But they just don't want to go all the way down in there. And like that one didn't go all the way down in, and it was tight. I don't want to put too much pressure on it, but let's see what happens as we move forward with the stringing. I like these strings. I've used them a lot. They're phosphor bronze from D'Addario or D'Addario. And as I said, the strings that came off it were for an electric guitar, which is a no-no. There's a reason why you're supposed to have the right strings on a guitar. And electric guitar strings do not belong on an acoustic guitar. So push down in there fine. It's actually right where I'd like to see it. I like to have all my string peg hole, my machine peg holes facing in the same direction, so let's do that. This is standard restringing procedure. Get them all facing in this direction thusly. There we go. An old string end hanging there on the bench. You never know what you're going to find on my bench. I work on so many guitars. String lives here in the button, comes across the board, comes across the nut slot. It's going to live here. You go to the next string hole, the next machine, tuning machine, and bend it right there. Stick it through the hole. First wrap. All the same rules apply. The first wrap goes above the string hole. Any successive wraps go below. I'd like to see at least one above and minimum of one underneath, but 1.5 going towards 2. Get your string, extra string out of the way, pull it straight up. Why do we do it that way? So that we get break angle. Now on a Takamine, Screamin' Mini, like this guitar, the headstock actually does dip down. It's not like a Fender. But you still want to have that break angle. So one string wrap above the string hole where it goes through the machine, every other wrap below it. And I've got 1.5 started below the string hole. That's more than enough to lock that in. Plus, when you go one above and all the rest below, it locks in the string on the tuning machine. It'll never come loose from there. You don't need to knot it and go underneath and spin it around and do a Chinese fire drill around that thing. It doesn't need to be done. It's not necessary. This is the proper way to do it. Stand by while I string up the rest of it, and then we're going to move to the next step. So you can see we're back. We have all the strings on the guitar. Let's get in the movie. It actually sounds pretty good. It tuned up very nicely. Now you can drive a truck under the string action. I was worried about this being too low. Now I know why. Somebody probably cut this down, and improperly, I might add. It did accept all the new string pegs properly. Now we have to go back into setup. So the very first thing I want to check, because we had such a problem with it to begin with, is the neck relief. And it was in a back bow when I first got it. Refer to the first video. We were able to get in there and find the right wrench for it, even though it's a Korean-made offshore guitar import, whatever you want to call it. It actually took, I was trying to put a 4mm, then a 5mm, and it ended up being a 3/16, a standard. Go figure. 7th fret, where's our neck relief is actually a little too loose right now, so I'm going to tighten it up slightly. These strings, it had electric guitar strings on it instead of acoustic guitar strings on it. We have the proper strings on it now. They are, whether you like them or not, or whether you use them, everybody's a little bit different. This is what I use. It's pretty standard middle of the road stuff, 53 to 12. You can go lighter, you can go heavier, but that's middle of the road for an acoustic guitar. Even though this is an acoustic electric, we're going to address this little issue later. We had to do some fabric cobbling on somebody's previous fabrication. I'm going to try to adjust string height and get it up to where the pickup can actually pick up. Because right now, yeah, you could drive a truck under that. It's probably 40 times lower than it needs to be. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bend it up, and I'm afraid to do that because, as I said before, the brackets that somebody fabricated for this are actually drilled into the body joist across here. That's the structure of the guitar top, the way their acoustics are put together. So we're not sure that's going to come out right. Let's stay with right now just setting the neck relief, and 3/16. We had way too much back bow in it before. Now we've got a little too much relief in it, and I mean a little too much relief. The only difference that would make the neck relief too far down now is because these strings put more tension on the neck. They're the proper strings for the guitar. So let's try to get in there and actually tighten this up slightly so it's a little too much relief. I'm going to give it an 1/8 or a 1/4 of a turn, tightening it to the right, and then check the adjustment again. And this is where we're fine-tuning the neck relief. So before, I literally put 8 turns on it to get it to where it is now. So I've gotten it to where we're fine tuning it, 1/8 of a turn, 1/4 of a turn at a time, until we get it right in that sweet spot. Then we're going to try to address string height, which I don't know if we're going to be able to. It still needs to be tightened up a bit. I'm thinking that's why somebody had straightened the neck so much that they went into a back bow, because they were trying to adjust string height, and then they tried to sand this all the way down. I don't know where we're going to go with this, but we're going to try. We're going to do what is the proper method for adjusting and setting up an instrument like this. We may have to go back. Now remember, this is a 2-way truss rod, and we had to go all the way into relief and force it into a relief state. We may have to actually go back the other way now that we have the proper string tension on it, and go the other way, because yeah, it looks like it's just too much in a banana right now. I may have to go past that and get it back into forcing it into some straightness. It's funny, but that's what happens. There we go. Get back on the other side. And normally you want to be on the tightening side and loosening only when you need it. That's getting straighter. Let's take another measurement. Okay, to reiterate, always capo at the first fret, finger at the body joint, 7th and 8th fret, you want a 12 thousandths of an inch. I think I went a little too far. You got to back it off, and that's that fine-tuning adjustment. Left is loosening it, which means it's going to allow the neck to relax. Right is tightening it, which is going to bring it up into a back bow. And each time you fine-tune it, you have to adjust it. I call this the truss rod lottery. Nope, it's just too tight for my liking. I'm going to go back. I can see some relief in it, but it just isn't enough. Now relief is to the left, and there we are, relaxed. If the measurement is too tight, you're too straight. That is just catching. Just catching in relief. I know this is monotonous, but this is how you do it. It's really, really close. I'm going to give it one more turn to relief. I want just a little bit more relief in it. Come here, you. Come on, Blackjack, you can do this. You know how it's done. This is the truss rod gambit. Even slightly more. So what we're now trying to do is, in increments, put that proper neck relief in there so that we can get 12 thousandths of an inch. And we're right there. That last little turn got us there. Now, tune it back up to pitch. I don't know if the camera's going to pick up this little tuner. Oh yeah. Now when we put string tension on it, because it may actually put too much, I'm going to tune it up to pitch. And then we're going to check it again. Because this guitar was so out of whack. Now normally on a regular setup, you're not going to have to go through this many steps to get it where it needs to be. But because this one was so far out of whack when I got it, it's holding tune. It's holding tune. I want to check it one more time now that we have string tension on it, and it should be perfect. Am I going to eat my own words? Maybe. Am I in there? Yeah. It's a little tighter than I would like, but I think I'm going to live with that. I'm afraid to check string height because I can't do anything with that. Yeah, that's pretty high. But it may not be as high as I think. Let's see. Let's see. It's a little higher than I would like it. By about 2/64 of an inch, which is negotiable. For an acoustic, yeah, not so bad. Whoops, hit the wrong chord. Plays like a dream, and it's holding tune very nicely. I didn't stretch the strings yet. Ooh, something popped. Got to stretch your strings when you're doing a full setup and restring. God, that sounds nice. Where's my glasses? Left my glasses off. Remember, the original complaint was buzzing all over the fret. Wow, this thing's nice. It's ready to play. It's ready to play. All the string pegs stayed in nicely. This is going to be a trial right here. Before we shut this video down, I'm going to one more time check the electronics on it. I don't trust what it's doing. I know the pickup is way too far away. Pickup is working fine. Doesn't really have anything to do with the volume control. It's actually coming through the amp just fine. It's that the pickup is a mile away from the strings and the magnetic field cannot pick up the vibrations unless you turn the amp all the way up. Now, this is going to seem a little disconcerting. I'm going to try to bend that pickup up a little bit, but I am not going to show that in the video because it is completely out of the realm of guitar repair. That is a modification that somebody did before I got it. So off camera, I'm going to try to bend it up against my better judgment and get a better sound for my, so that he can at least have the acoustic electric function as much as it can possibly be. I'm going to call this a win. This guitar plays great. It cleaned up nicely. It's strung up nicely. It's got great intonation. It's ready to play. It's considering the condition that it was in when I got it. It's ready to roll. We're going to call this a win. This is Blackjack with 396 Guitars. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk soon.